Hmm. Huh. Hmm.
It's pregnancy cravings, okay?
Alright, we got our popcorn. We got our video ready to go. We're watching Space Bandits, Why I Quit World of Tanks console again. Fellowship. Follow up. I was thinking of Lord of the Rings for a moment there. Anyway, popcorn. I was going to watch Eclipse's reaction to it, but I want to watch this without any bias and just give you what I think is going on, wherever his even is. Anyway, we're gonna watch Space Bandits, the raw version. We're gonna react. We're gonna tell you what's going on with our World of Tanks knowledge. Hopefully we know something. And plus that one is here as well.
Oh, yeah.
She's playing Animal Crossing.
Hello. Oh, wait, I'm gonna over. Hello.
Oh, there she is.
I do not condone the eating of cats.
She does.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Only chicken and pork and all the good stuff.
Space Bandit. He likes his music, doesn't he? I don't know if it's copywritten, but we'll find out.
Another episode of World of Tanks. Yeah, I know. I'm a bit sooner than you expected, right? I wasn't gonna post anything for a while, but here I am, again, posting another video.
Things never change.
Let me assure you though, I haven't been playing
Game
tanks.
can be unplayable.
I'm not sure when I will, but I did want to make a follow-up video to the last one I made because initially I
Unbreakable
was going to
Tracks.
provide commentary with that video, but later I thought to myself, why commentate to something that says 1,000 words just by looking at it? I mean, you look at the video and you see what's happening, but I think it is needed. I need to kind of relay to you guys what I'm thinking, because none of this stuff gets covered on any of the other YouTube channels. I know Clone Guy used to talk about this extensively in the past,
That's me.
but lately I don't think he
Oh.
really focuses on things like this anymore.
No, I don't.
Maybe it doesn't bother him, or maybe he doesn't play a game as much as he used to.
I don't
I'm
play
not
as much.
sure,
Okay.
but I know in
Also, there are other pressing matters than ghost shells. Ghost shells were bad, 4.12 especially, when ghost shells really were a thing, and they've never disappeared since then. 4.12 was probably one of the worst updates of all time until 6.0. Frankly, more pressing matters to me are the fact that anybody can just buy a tier 10 now, and not only can they buy a tier 10 and play in the more advanced lobbies, they have tanks that don't require any skill and will always do damage to you, and so the meta has completely been broken. It's no fun playing heavy tanks anymore, especially niche heavy tanks like the FE215B. The FE215B used to be able to use and block some damage if you knew how to use it. Now it doesn't matter because everyone has high pen or HE. And so they've killed tanks, they've killed the meta. Playing with players who have less than 600 games at tier 10, it's no fun. That's my biggest gripe. So I don't really care about the mechanics right now. One thing at a time.
the past, he was one of the main drivers
Yeah, Operation
when it
Overhaul.
comes to issues in the game, trying to fix those. And I was right along with him
Yes,
when it came to that
he was
topic.
my right-hand man basically.
But I guess I wanted to kind of make a follow-up video and discuss these things that I'm showowing you guys. I know a lot of
What's
this
we gonna see here?
seems
Let's
like
see.
I'm salty and
Aims at the
whining
lower
and
plate.
kind of stuff.
Goes
But in
low
reality,
left.
It affects the game to the point.
He's actually fighting against... Here's something he hasn't mentioned, and this is an actual thing. He is fighting against AI. It's just add shells. That's an AI bot. You have reduced RNG when you're fighting them. Wargaming have stated that when you're fighting AI, they get better RNG than you, because otherwise you are going to dominate them, and it's no fun. They want them to be a challenge, and so you will have reduced RNG when you are fighting the AI, which is what he's run into, and he might not realize that that's what he's fighting. And so he's aiming for a weak spot, which is lower plate, which actually on the VK is not a lower plate. Don't shoot it in not a weak spot. Don't shoot it in the lower plate. That's thicker than the upper plate. Shoot it in the upper plate. That's where you should be aiming. But regardless, the shell, did you see where it went? It went low left and hit it in the rear drive wheel almost, and he's tracked it.
Where it completely unbalances the entire environment. I think that's where I'm trying to kind of get to with this video.
He's aiming again, same spot.
Basically, all
slows
of
it
the
down,
that I'm showing you, that I have
and the shell goes to
all,
the same exact location.
Running into issues like that. But
Twice in a row is kind of suspicious, but if it happens a third time,
significantly to success of
third shot, lower plate,
or the other, it creates a
and it goes
balance
basically to the same exact
and, over the years,
location.
We're always
Ooh, 3 times, that's rough. Is it going to be number 4?
Else being a problem. Why is it that we always see those lopsided wins?
He aims it,
losses?
lower plate.
This plays big part in it.
Bounces off the lower plate, which I said could happen, and then hits the same exact location. All four shells pulled low and to the left.
I just track it, for instance.
Oof.
You basically taken one gun out of the game. So if it's a relatively good player firing those shells that don't pen, so you can imagine 4 or 5 shells being fired that should have been pens, potentially, that takes this good player out.
Now, Wargaming have admitted in the past during their live streams that they do give some advantages to the lesser end players, and they have implemented skill-based matchmaking as well. Plus, they tested all those RNG changes, skill-based RNG changes, with the AI that we were just seeing, and so there is a valid argument that bad players do get better RNG than good players to make the game more even and more fair. However, fairness is relative, because something that is truly fair is an even playing field for everyone. So that means skill is what matters in something that is fair. That's basically what capitalism is, as compared to communism. Communism is everyone gets everything the same, everything shared the same. And so it doesn't matter what your job is, you're getting paid the same, which is basically what we're almost seeing here, while capitalism rewards hard work and it rewards skill, and everyone's on the same playing field. We don't really get that anymore in World of Tanks, so everyone being on the same playing field. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. Of course, again, he was fighting AI, and AI, again, I'm going to say this again, we do have worse RNG against AI. We are rolling lower, we have lower pen rolls, our shells aren't hitting where we want them to. They have that feature as well in World of Warships, so just keep that in mind.
Out of the game and creates imbalance. And what I've noticed during my last run, because I went back into the replay system, I looked at some of the things that were happening.
He's angry. He wants to kill this LTG, but he's going to get killed if he pokes this.
One team has trouble penetrating tanks, or shots are
Let's take a look
track.
here. Right now he's aiming here. He'll probably want to be aiming here, but the guy's turning left, following him. So I would actually be aiming right about here.
Shots are going.
Okay, he's still following him, but look at the plane that's changing. He's starting to drive straight away from him.
Wherever.
There it is.
And the other team is.
He gets hit. He now has 9 hit points left.
Able to pen.
Okay, that's a good shot, right there.
Hit their.
He fires.
Shots.
And the shell goes low right. It went low right. He was aiming high, actually, there. And I was wondering if he was overcompensating, but it actually went low right.
Right then and then, it creates
and he's going to die here, probably.
In the battle. And one team starts winning significantly over the other team. And then it's hard to catch up.
I think that whole clip there was kind of just bad RNG. I mean, we experienced it a lot. He was talking about unpennable tanks. I'd want to know what he means by unpennable tanks. Does he mean tanks that suddenly have like all this armor that you can't penetrate? Because I've never witnessed that before. I've never actually seen that. I'll complain about it from time to time, like, I can't penetrate, I bounce off a light tank, you know, that kind of stuff. But did you actually bounce off a light tank? Or did you hit in between, or did you hit the tracks in a bad spot? Or did you hit underneath the tank? Or did you hit at an extreme angle? Or did you hit the mantle? Or did you hit the gun? I've never seen the mechanics in the sense of penetration and overmatch not work before. They have always worked. It's a core game mechanic that would be very difficult to change, very difficult to modify. And so I've never actually seen a tank take a hit broadside that should have penned and would have penned if you look at it from the armor viewer, just bounce off. There's always some kind of reason that you don't take into account, like, for instance, spaced armor, angled spaced armor, tracks, stuff like that, like I was saying before. And so right there, that wasn't the case of him bouncing off or on not being able to penetrate that guy. His shell went low right into the drive wheel, just like it did into the VK, where it kept hitting the drive wheel instead of the tank's hull. That doesn't make it unpennable. That means you weren't hitting it, which is really unlikely that he wasn't hitting it, but he wasn't hitting it. Not much you can do there.
Call it RNG or whatever.
RNG,
I mean,
yeah.
RNG plays a big factor in the game.
Yes, it does.
For sure. And there's no way
Bat chat.
around it. But a lot of the issues that we
Fire
see
right now. He'll hit.
or that I've seen
He's
in
aiming.
my last couple of sessions,
Aiming.
were
That's a good
actually
spot where he's aiming.
game-related
He's gonna hit if he
issues.
fires. He does. This is the shell. Let's go back a little bit. Let's see the circle size. So this is the circle right here. Do you see this? So we're gonna keep my mouse at the edge of his circle.
Choose.
I mean, the gun bucks up, but that's going to the very bottom. Is that outside the circle? Let's check again. Okay, so the very bottom of the circle is at the very bottom of his...
Game-related
Look at the very bottom is at the very bottom of his tracks.
issues.
He just got the worst RNG you could ever have. This is the only spot basically on the enemy tank that was outside the circle. Or outside the hitbox, but still in the circle. And that's exactly where it went. And I would love to see another shot. So there are some very, very good conspiracy theories. I love conspiracy theories. Where the game will purposely throw off your RNG. And I've experienced it as well, but RNG is RNG. It's just the roll of dice. And so I would be careful to think it's true or not. But I've definitely seen evidence for it. Where when one team starts to raffle stomp, the team that's losing gets even worse RNG. And the team that's winning gets even better RNG to speed up the matches, to get them to the next game. Because this game, we're going to get their money with more games played. The more games you play, the more you want premium. The more you want premium tanks, the more you get sick of the tank you're in. There's so many things that play into quick matches. Get to the next game, get to the next game, get to the next game. And just play. The game used to be better when they were more drawn out. I think it would be really cool if there was some kind of last stand feature in the game where when you're the last tank left and there are like at least 5 tanks or something. Maybe the RNG should go the other way. But again, then we're delving into no longer a fair playing field, and the playing field needs to be fair. Everyone needs to have the same RNG.
If those issues
But yeah,
were fixed,
he didn't bounce off. The shell
then
went under his
imbalance
tank.
wouldn't be a problem, even with RNG.
Whoa.
Imbalance wouldn't happen.
Whoa. The tracer was off. It didn't. This isn't his shell. This is his shell. That's way outside the circle. I take back everything I said. That's outside the circle. And look at his ping. 38. He doesn't even have bad connection.
G.
Okay.
Imbalance wouldn't have been a problem.
What's next?
Issues in a
1
game.
versus 7. 1 versus 7 here again is where I've heard many testimonies say that when you're the last tank alive and you get bad RNG simply because the game wants you to lose. But you have to remember when you're last tank alive, you're not thinking as clearly because your brain is going a million miles an hour, your heart is going a million miles an hour, there's adrenaline coursing through you. You're perceiving everything very, very quickly and differently than you would in a regular game. And so you're going to be rushing shots more, you're going to be less patient, and then you're going to be processing things differently.
The ones that create imbalance. So we can whine all we want about matchmaking, about RNG, about other factors that impact the game. In
Shooting an ELC is tough. Let's see where this goes.
reality,
Fire. If he fires right now, he's got him.
the game has
He holds his shot.
bugs. And until it's fixed, you're always going to have teammates.
Here's the issue with this, as I already see where this is going. This ELC is moving very quickly. His turret, Space Bandit's turret, is moving very quickly. He's going to fire this, and it's going to shoot out the other side because the server is not keeping up with him. And that's one of the biggest problems. His ping is fine. The issue is the World of Tanks servers are terrible.
Imbalance in the game.
He overcompensates, gets
So
shot,
unless you-
and he fires. And he aimed a little high here. I think the shell either went here or it went here. If he had aimed at the body, he would have had the kill.
One of those players that closes
Yeah,
your
it went
eyes
to the
and
right
says,
side. We can kind of see the smoke here. So it went to the right side of the turret. So he fired a little too far ahead of him, just barely. If he had aimed a little lower, he would have had him.
Okay, I don't care about what my team
Yeah, there's
does, what
the dust
opposite
cloud.
team does. Only whatever I do matters. And if I have a full bar game, so be it. It's a full bar game. We throw it out the window. We go to the next one. But I'm not one of those types of players. I actually like winning. You know, for me,
Winning is fun.
doing 8,000 damage in a game is
Alright,
not
something
the
tells
only-
me he's going to miss again. He's probably going to ram into him and auto-lock him. Just be careful. You have 5 degrees of gun depression. If you ram into him, your gun might buck up.
thing I play for. I mean, I do enjoy
Right there, he's got the kill. I would have fired.
it. Don't get me wrong.
But he pulls in,
It's nice to do 8,000 damage
gives him his side.
and say, well,
He fired before the tank rammed into him, so his gun didn't buck up. Look where his aiming circle is. It's completely on his tank.
oh, I had a great game. But for me, enjoyment
And now he gets hit. And the shell goes high. Where does
this
it
game
hit?
is from winning.
It hits right here. I mean, that's a rough one. I mean, it's a short tank.
Is from pulling the games off, especially in
Yeah,
a
he
situation
circled it
when
for
you're
us.
losing. 1 versus 3, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 5. You know, that's the enjoyment of the game. Being able to look at the battle and say, holy shit, we're losing by 5 tanks and we're able to pull it off. I mean, that's the enjoyment for me. And now when there are issues in a game that create imbalance and situations in which I am not able to do what I can do within a
He
game,
takes another hit.
it pisses me off. As simple as that. And especially nowadays,
And he fires. This is where his shell is. Do you see that? This is where it's going.
since we have
Oh no, not even. He bounces off. I don't know what this was. He bounces off because he's got heat loaded. The heat does not overmatch. Though heat will penetrate the ELC even 90 up to 85 degrees, meaning he just hit him at like an 86, 87, 90 degree angle, which is nearly impossible to do, but he did it.
so many new players
Bounces
in
off the
game,
top.
and if I roll into the game,
That's a
I
bounce.
feel like I need
And very, very unfortunate. If he had AP, he would have overmatched. If he had HE, he would have splashed him.
to be the one driving. I need to be the one pushing the effort.
He gets the kill in the end, though. But here comes the IKEA.
at the beginning of the game, so that we can hold off the opposing team, that we can stay in the game. And all of a sudden, my shots are not hitting.
Ghost
missing,
shells.
They're ghost shelling, or whatever it is that's happening. I already know that.
So here's the thing about the tracers. The tracers lag behind where the shell actually is. The tracer there made it look like his shell hit behind the FV101, but in reality the shell itself was moving faster than the tracer, so if anything that would have been a hit, that should have been a hit, but you're contending with the World of Tanks servers. The World of Tanks servers are so bad. This isn't a mechanic in the game that they have. This isn't a mechanic that they've broken in the game. This is just the fact that they won't upgrade their servers. They won't get things that can handle the speed of the tanks that they keep implementing. And so this is a point toward Space Bandit, his reason to not wanting to play. His reasons behind why these mechanics are working the way they are might be a little off, potentially. This is just my experience and my opinion. But the end result is the same. the server can't handle the FE 101. The FE 101 is too stupid fast and too stupid small. Like, let's go back to that shot again, and I'll show you what I mean.
Or
Ready, watch
whatever
this.
it is.
Can we slow this down? Yes, we can. Watch this. Play. He aims. That looks like a good shot to me. That looks really good. This thing is moving at 85 kilometers an hour. He aims even further ahead. There's the shell. Should have aimed a little lower. So the tracer's going straight through the tank, which means his shot has already missed. Oh my goodness, the shell actually hit. It was in sync with the tracer. That's a ghost shell. I stand corrected. That's why I watch it in slow motion. But that does not defeat the point I made where this tank is moving too fast for the servers to keep up. And that's what happened there. So again, his point is valid. That is a legitimate ghost shell.
I already know that the game is going to be lost. Because if 4 or 5 shots in a row are not hitting, they're missing.
There's the shot. The tracer was in fact in line with the shell that time.
Or they go shelling. Or fucking, you know, they go off by a 90-degree angle. Or they just disappear. Because that's what happens
Here's an E50M.
in many cases. I know there's
Wait,
no
this
way
live
to be
oaks?
able to win the game.
Ooh.
It's not fun for
It's
me as a
back.
player. Because the stuff that we talked about
User error.
8, 9 years ago is still happening in a game today. That is the
Okay.
biggest problem.
We're gonna follow where he's
And
aiming.
that is the stuff that we
Look. Look. Watch my mouse. I'm gonna put it exactly where his circle is, aiming behind the E50M as soon as he fires.
8,
Watch.
9 years ago
So here it
is
is.
still happening in a game today.
As
That
soon
is
as
the
he
biggest
fires,
problem. And that is the stuff
And
that
it
we tried
does.
to address
It
many
hits
years ago.
right where he was aiming
Mess-
in the backdrop. So that's just a simple. The tank turned. The tank zigged when he thought it was gonna zag, and the shell didn't move as quickly as he was hoping for, and it made it look like a ghost shell. That was just a miss.
Just to wargaming. Discussions with community contributors. I was a CC for a year and a bit.
I was
where
a
we
CC
kind
for
of
2
covered
weeks.
some of these topics. And none of that shit got addressed. Even though they listened to us, none of that shit got addressed. Nobody treated it seriously. So if that stuff is not being
Dummy
treated
shells.
seriously, what are we talking about
Are
here?
these blank shots?
Like, what are we talking about here? Like, why am
He's
I
got
even
40
talking
ping,
right now?
which is really good. 28.
I don't know. I just want to
Shot
make
by
sure
the
you
Brazil.
understand where I'm
Oh
coming
my
from.
goodness.
And you understand my frustration.
It came out the side of his gun. That's the server not being able to keep up with
I don't know.
itself. So
I
he
just-
turns. He turned rather quickly.
Want to make sure you
Oh, but he gave the game plenty of time to catch up. It wasn't like he turned and fired. He turned, waited a good probably quarter second to half a second, then fired, and the server still couldn't register that he had turned. That's why the shell came out the side, because it thinks he's still looking this way. But at the same time, the shell came out of the tip of his gun, meaning it's registering that his gun is shooting from where the tip is. And so the game does know that his barrel is here. But that means the game thinks that his tank is here facing this way. And so that's a translation error on the game's part. A failed translation error.
understand
See, look, it's gonna fire from here,
where I'm coming from.
which means it knows his barrel is here.
And you understand my
There, it fired from right here. So it knows his barrel is here, and if his tank is here, then it should be able to figure out that that's where he's looking, but the server just failed. Wow.
frustration when it comes to years of playing this game and not being able to fix it. Because, let's be honest, the game is
It
fantastic.
thinks he's here.
People that started playing it and love the game, they still love it today. And they're hooked on it. It's hard to leave. Once you like this game, and the game is very much likable because it's, like I said before, it's appealing to a lot of different age groups. It is hard to say goodbye. It draws you in somehow. Like
It
I
does
always
draw you
keep
in.
coming back to the game.
I keep coming back.
Doesn't matter
I'm a
how
fool.
long I stay away from it. I always find a way back.
There you go. He hits that
So
one,
even
takes his
now-
time, puts it in.
I'm not playing it. I'm not sure. I
Let's
might
see
not
here.
be playing it for a week, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
Mhm.
maybe even months. I don't know.
He comes around the corner. This entire circle is on him. He's not auto-locking. He goes over this, which does affect his gun a little bit. But he's got more than enough gun depression and elevation to keep the gun on target. He fires that shell.
Maybe even more. But at some point, I know I'll be back to it. Eventually. Because I still enjoy it as a game itself. I just wish some of...
And here's where he hits. Right here. So he hits here. So now we know the angle. It's a car's length away from this car. So let's go back and see it again.
somehow. Like, I always keep coming back to the game.
Yes, you do.
Doesn't matter how long I stay away from it. I always find a way back.
Let's see.
So even now...
He comes around the
not playing
corner.
it. I'm not sure. I might not be playing it.
So right now, look where his gun is. It's aiming exactly where we're going to see it hit, next to this car. Right here.
For week 2.
And that's where it hits. It goes here. It never registered that he turned. It couldn't keep up with him. And his ping is fantastic. He's got 38.
3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe even months. I don't know. Maybe even more.
It goes right here.
But at some point, I
It
know
never
I'll be back to
registered
it
that he turned.
eventually, because I still enjoy it as a game itself. I just wish some of those things inside the game were actually taken seriously and fixed
That's
by
so sad.
wargaming. So, yeah. Anyway,
Normal,
that's what I wanted to
everyday
share with
idiocy.
you guys. Just my opinion.
Aiming at the side turret. Fires. So what happened here? I think I'll
My
probably
two
go into
cents
slow motion, so I'll
with
show it
respect to
again.
this,
I'll show it again.
because I don't see any.
So what happens here, this is a red. Because the back turret of the ST1 is concaved inward, its angle sharpened very quickly as it turns. And so right now, I would be aiming here because he's turning his turret toward me. And so at any moment, that turret is going to be come an auto ricochet very quickly.
Anybody else covering this?
As
I
he's
don't see
turning,
anybody else talking
boom.
about issues. And I think that
And now it's an auto ricochet,
should
and
be
that's where it
talked about.
bounces.
I mean, if any of you are CCs or in some way connected with wargaming, try it and see where you get with it. We couldn't get with it anywhere.
Jagdpanzer.
So I don't think you'll be able to get with it now.
He's got 375 millimeters of APCR penetration, and with the E4, I have fallen for this trap more times than I wish. So this is its spaced armor, the Jagdpanzer right here, okay? It runs all the way along the side. If you hit this spaced armor up here, this thin bar, you will bounce no matter what your pen is, even if you're hitting flush from the side. This bar, if you hit lower in the spaced armor, it's fine because it's flat. But this bar is shaped like this. You see, kind of rounded. And so now you're having to go through this, where it's connected, this huge thick part of armor, and that's many, many millimeters thick, plus what's behind it. And that's where he hit there.
Looking at the player base right now.
That's exactly where he's aiming. Do not aim here on the Jagdpanzer or the E100. He should be aiming here, or better yet, here. This, it's funny because in this clip is where his shell actually goes exactly where he's aiming it, like for the first time.
Shit about it. It is what it is.
And that's
It's in the
exactly where he
game.
hit.
And people just seem to accept it nowadays and just roll with it. It is what it is. I don't know. I mean, how can you accept shots going outside the reticle? I mean, that's completely unacceptable.
Can you take
Why
it?
are the shots going
Jaeger
outside
misses.
the reticle?
Yeah, it's true there,
You
though.
have a reticle
Lower plate.
for a reason.
No matter, he's dead.
It is there for a reason.
Chieftain.
So why is it not used properly? Not only do the shots go outside the reticle, but once the bloom changes after firing the shot and your reticle becomes huge, right now the shots go outside the increased bloom. When the size changes,
I was a little
after
aimed
firing the shot,
behind, but I still
the
think that
shots
should
go
have hit.
outside of that bloom, outside of that reticle. Like, what is that?
He hit the
Why is
outside
it in the
drive
game?
wheel. It
And
didn't
there's
track him,
no
though. That's
way
the weird
this is
thing.
server lag, because I looked at my ping. I've seen this happening even with ping below 10 milliseconds.
And then he bounces off.
You can't tell me it's ping related.
That was a series of unfortunate events. That one there. Well, let's go back and I'll show you slowly exactly what I'm talking about. His first shot,
goal becomes huge. Right
he
now,
should have aimed a
the
little further in front. Because now, we're going to follow, do
shots
what we did before.
go
Where we're following the shell. He fired while the reticle was here on the tank, meaning now he's aiming at about here.
outside, they increase
And
blue.
now it's there.
When the size
And that is where
changes
he hit.
after firing the shell. The shots go
So he should have aimed a
outside of
little
that
further
blue,
in front.
outside of that
And then this one right here is just unlucky.
reticle.
He's got a conglomeration of lightly armored tanks right in front of his loaded 120mm gun, and he's gonna hit
Like,
the outside or inside drive wheel of the Ramatile.
what is that?
Fails to track him, but he hit no armor. And this game is not like War Thunder where that shell continues. The shells can bounce one time before hitting something else. That is a thing where you can bounce off of somebody and hit someone else, or you can bounce off of like a T-32, the lower mantlet, go into the upper hull, but it will not bounce twice. And if it goes into tracks, that doesn't count as a bounce. That's the shell eating, or that's the tracks eating the shell. So the shell doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. And so as soon as he hits those tracks, that shell is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. And that's why he did no damage, because he hit a part of the Rheinmetall that was not part of the hitbox, just the tracks. And so that's the reason for this shot here.
Why is it in the game? And there's no way this is server lag, because
That was not server lag.
I've seen this happening.
And then this one,
Even
he's aiming. Look at where the gun is. Look where that Leopard's gun is.
with ping below 10 milliseconds.
He hits right here. And it bounces off, so it doesn't even hit the gun. And he just got unlucky with that shot as well.
So you can't tell me it's ping related. It's definitely in a game, and it's there for a purpose. It's there for
He's got heat.
but I don't know what
V-shaped.
reason.
That one was a bad shot. I'm just gonna be blunt. That was a bad shot. Let me
And
show it
it's there
again.
for a purpose. It's there for a reason.
He's never aiming here.
But
Look where he's aiming. It's still at the track. His circle isn't even on the hull.
I don't know what reason.
And he fires. Oopsies. And it goes, lo and behold, where he was aiming. That one was user error. No offense.
So maybe average player doesn't care about this, or maybe new players don't know. You know that, like, oh wow, maybe that's supposed to be like that. No, but it's not. Especially if you play the game for as many years as I do.
Heat loaded
That's completely
V-shaped hull. Right there, you saw the spark. He hit the gun. Heat will not pass through the gun. Because he auto-locked and the T-54E1 was looking at him, starting to look at him, he hit him right in the gun once.
Years as I do.
If he had AP, he might have had a
Completely.
chance. Dang it, does it again. But he hit him in the gun.
Unacceptable.
That's why he bounced.
I'm sorry. Fix the game. Fix the game, and then we can talk about why we have imbalance issues. Why is one team being completely overrun, 14-0?
He's got heat loaded for the side of the VK.
A lot
That's
of
too
these
low.
issues.
That's still too low. He's
A lot
aiming.
of those issues
You cannot aim there. You have to aim I, which he
major
adjusted.
to the outcome of the game.
You cannot fire heat into the lower side hull of the Type 5 Heavy. You cannot. I don't care what your gun is. Do not fire there. There's so much spaced armor. The side skirt is thick. The tracks are stupid thick. And then the side armor is thick. If you aim above, right beneath the turret, the ammo rack is there. There's no spaced armor there. You can just punch right through, and he probably would have ammo racked him gun 4 for 4. He only actually put one shell aimed there. The rest were aimed too low.
Period. So until that is fixed, nothing else will ever get better. Anyway, I think we'll end it here. I will not apologize for the ramble, guys. I think Wargaming deserves it. And I think we have to speak out. And we cannot accept
See there,
this
that
shit.
was the shot he should have done. Notice how he's not aiming down here or aiming down here. He's aiming up along this bar.
Have to speak out. And
That's
we
why he
cannot accept
penned.
this shit the way it is anymore. That's it for now. Until next time. Space button. Check it out.
That's gonna fire at the side. He moved too quickly. The server couldn't keep up. Part of being good at this game, Spaceman is a phenomenal player, but part of being excelling even higher is understanding not just the mechanics of the game, but understanding how the servers react. And The server was never going to keep up with that. Leopard and the Leopard 1 and T62A are two infamous tanks that the server cannot keep up with because the turret turns so quickly and the hull turns so quickly. The server just can't keep up. And I've had so many shells like this. And if I'm in my Leopard, I would have... Yes, I might die if I wait another quarter second because he might shoot me, but you have to because you know the server's not going to keep up. And that's gotten me killed so many times waiting for the server to keep up. But that's kind of something you have to do. I'm gonna have some more popcorn. Yum, yum, yum. But let's recap here. These first ones that he showed have been aiming so low. But all 4 shots went to the same spot. That's a little sus. But again, he is fighting AI. You have worse RNG against AI. So that one's understandable. Moving on to the next. This one right here. The shell hit outside the circle. That's just how it happened. It just did against the bat chat. What can you do? It wasn't an unlucky bounce because it never hit the tank. And then this one here. The first shell was aimed too high. The second shell, I think there was just a miscalculation as to the gun depression.
It's not the only thing I play for. I mean, I do enjoy it. Don't get me
like right
wrong.
there, he should have fired. Right now, he's waited long enough. The server should have caught up now because he has it on target. Fire now.
Do 8,000 damage.
And now he fires.
I had a great.
And he misses. And then lastly, oh here, this one was just a straight up ghost shell. Absolutely, but it had nothing to do with the game mechanics. It had to do with the server not being able to keep up with the very quick tank that he's looking at. This tank right here,
it is,
just good luck.
Happening, the
game just can't keep up. So what he sees, the tank was probably already where it is now. So now what he's looking at, the tank is actually probably already here. And that's why he missed. So he missed this guy probably by like 20, 30 meters and doesn't realize it because the game just can't keep up. This one was just a bad shot with the E50M. This one was the game thinking he was somewhere he wasn't. It registered where the barrel was, but it registered facing the wrong way. That is definitely a game issue. This one is also a game issue.
Way back.
This next one.
So even now, I'm not playing it. I'm not sure. I might not be playing it for a week, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Because it hit.
Maybe even months.
Wrong.
I don't know.
This one was not a game issue. This one was just not understanding how the ST1's turret works, and that's fine. There are so many armor values and shapes in this game. You don't need to understand them all. ST1 is one of my favorites. I love this tank. I know it front and back, and so I understand how the turret works. E4, shooting the Jagdpanzer, I have done this exact same thing. This was not the game ruining his chances of winning. This was
couldn't get with it anyway.
Not understanding that this part of the armor you cannot pen.
So I don't think you'll be able to get with
and
it
he bounces
nowadays.
And then we've got this one. These ones were just unfortunate shots. This one was a bad aim. This is the one I'm giving. This was a bad aim. Sorry, Space. And then he fired heat into the gun. And then this one was also bad aim. And then this one was the server not catching up. But he does have arguments here as to why to quit. The server's not being able to keep up, basically being the main issue here in his video. That's a perfectly valid reason to leave because that ruins your games. And then, of course, giving RNG to less skilled individuals, that's also not good. So, of course, that was more conspiracy. But they have said that as far as AI goes, AI has better RNG than we do. And our RNG is reduced against them. So, there you go. But that's going to have to be it. I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you did, slap that like button, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you go check out Space Bandit's take on this. Well, I guess you can see his original video. I'll also leave a link to Eclipse's video where he makes a take on this. And I'll leave a link to Space Bandit's follow-up talking about Eclipse's review. I went through Eclipse's comments. I haven't seen his video, and everyone seemed to disagree with Eclipse. It was hilarious, and the one comment he actually hearted and liked was the one comment that was agreeing with him. So I think that's kind of funny. But we all know Eclipse, right? He's the real reason we've got a lot of good tier 10 players. All right. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed. Slap that like button, comment, subscribe, and speaking of Space Bandit, check out his YouTube channel because as always, we're shouting him out. There he is. We're watching him right now. And I'll be seeing you guys all later. Take care, everyone. And peace out.